Every day you wake up, you eat, and then you go to sleep. And the next day the cycle repeats. The end is connected to the beginning, much like a loop. In programming, a loop is used to repeat a block of code. In this video, you will learn about the 3 different types of loops used in Swift and how they can be used to perform repetitive tasks. These are the for-in loop, the while loop, and the repeat while loop. Remember the example conditional if statement that checked if the water temperature was 0 degrees? It printed, the water is freezing, if the condition was met. This sequence only runs once. What if you needed to do this multiple times? Well, to do this, you need to use something called loops. In Swift, developers use loops to continually execute repeated blocks of code until a certain condition is satisfied. Loops are similar to conditionals in that a condition must be satisfied in order for the code to execute. Each type of loop is used in different circumstances. The for-in loop is used for repeating an iteration for a set number of items. For example, you want to eat a pancake every day for the next 7 days. The while loop is used when a specific condition is true. You want to eat a pancake only on the days it is raining. And finally, repeat while loop is used in situations where you need something to run at least once before checking if the condition is true. For example, you eat one pancake, then before you eat another, check to see if it's raining. Pancakes aside, let's explore each loop in a little more detail. Okay, so you've learned that a for-in loop is used when you need to loop a definite number of times, when you know upfront exactly how many times something needs to repeat. The for-in loop performs a set of statements for each item in a range, sequence, or collection. So, for each item in a range, the for-in loop body is executed. Once the last item is checked, the loop will terminate. Don't worry if you've not heard about collections yet. You will learn more about them later. For now, let's explore the structure of the for-in loop. For example, suppose you want to create a loop that will print the numbers from 1 to 5. You will want the loop to run at least 5 times. In Swift, you can provide the range that the for-in loop must complete. First, you start with the keyword for, and then some variable name, followed by the keyword in, and then finally your range. The range consists of a starting value, 3 dots, then an ending value. The 3 dots tell Swift that the loop must start at the first number and run until it reaches the second number. The number of times is counted by the value in the syntax. The body of the loop contains the code to be executed, and it is placed inside a set of curly braces. When this loop runs, the value is equal to the starting number in the range, which is 1. Every time the loop runs, 1 is added to the value, so the loop runs until the value is equal to the last number in the range. For example, you can have for value in 1 dot 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 5. Then a print function inside the loop. In this case, the loop starts at 1 and stops at 5. Where for-in loops are used for an exact number of times, while loops will continue looping as long as the defined condition is true. Each time it goes around the loop, it will check that the condition is still true. The loop will be terminated when the condition is false. For example, suppose you're designing a game where players have 3 turns to make a move. First, you create a variable named turns and assign it the value of 1. var turns equal 1. Next, you create a while loop with the condition that the value of the variable named turns must be less than or equal to 3. So you type while turns less than or equal to 3. In the body of the loop, you print the turn number. Print this is turn number. Finally, you increment or add the value of 1 to the turns variable. Turns plus equal 1. The loop will continue running until turns is less than or equal to 3, and then it will terminate. If you want to show the player how many turns they have left, this can be achieved by using what is called a flag. So, you may have a variable called total turns, which is equal to 3, and a second variable called turns left that is equal to true. So your code reads var total turns equal 3, var turns left equal true. You can use a flag in your while loop to change turns left to false when there are no turns left. You then set the condition of the loop to be the value of the turns left variable by typing while turns left. Inside the loop, you decrement the total turns variable in each iteration, total turns minus equal 1. And you set a condition to change the turns left variable to false if total turns is less than 1. If total turns less than 1, turns left equal false. This will terminate the loop when the player runs out of turns. As long as the condition returns true, the loop will continue and print, got another turn. Flags are especially useful when you want to set a value to true or false to end a loop. Now, what if you wanted to create a statement that is executed at least once before checking if a condition is true? In Swift, the repeat while loop allows you to achieve just that. Like the while loop, the repeat while loop will continue looping as long as a condition is true. However, it first runs the body of the loop and only then evaluates the condition. The condition is always checked after each loop is executed. If the condition is true, the code block is executed again. The condition is then evaluated once more. This process continues until the condition is false. Only then will the loop terminate. In a real-world scenario where you may need data from a user up front, the repeat while loop can be used to show them the information you require before they can continue using the service. In this video, you learned that for-in loops are ideal for situations where you know how many loops there are going to be. While loops are best used when the number of iterations are not known before the first loop begins. And finally, repeat while loops allow you to run an iteration at least once before evaluating the condition.